Jashodanandana Brajochanuranjana Jashodanandana Brajochanuranjana Jamunatiravanachari Jamunatiravanachari Jayo Radho Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jayo Radho Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jashodanandana Brajochanuranjana Jashodanandana Brajochanuranjana Jamunatiravanachari Jamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jashodanandana Brajochanuranjana Jashodanandana Brajochanuranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna. Hare Rama, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jagadguru Prabhupada, Nitya Gaura Haribol, 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 Gaura Haribol. Hare Nama Eva Kevala, Kalo Nasti Eva Gatiranyata. Kalo Nasti Eva Gatira. One more time. Hare Nama Eva Kevala, Kalo Nasti Eva Gatiranyata. Jai Shri La Prabhupada Jagadguru Patita Pavana Ki. Shishi Gora Nitai ki, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Marani ki. 3 minutes?
3 minutes.
Kirtan? Oh, no.
I want to say something.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Yes, I can take
Really what is we got the Rath Yatra and temple flyers yesterday, and we actually have 2 flyers which have to be put together for the parade. And I was wondering if we can, during class, if you can maybe do a little bit of service, and we could bring these flyers. And I have to maybe 1-2 minutes explain, because we have German and English.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry for this.
Absolutely,
It's
absolutely.
just we have to distribute these flyers and
Absolutely.
the other 2 also. So you can put it down. So we don't have to do all of them, but we just do a part of it. So this is German. Basically, we just take the German. This is only about the festival, and this is for the temple. And this side has to go first. Put some example. Yeah. So this is one example. And then the English, we have 2 different ones. The same one, but
Can you put on the floor?
yeah, maybe I bring a box. German speakers.
It's German.
Put them in these. One for English and one for German. That's
Narinamaiva Kevala Kalu Nasti Manasti Nasti Vaktiranyata Harinamam Harinama Harinamaiva Kevala Kalu Nasti Manasti Nasti Vagatiranyata.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Sorry, Shyam.
No problem. I am sorry. Okay, so we're reading from Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Canto 5, chapter number 1, text number 11. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Nibodhata Dedamritam Bravimi Mashu Iuttum Devam Harasha Premayam Vayam Bhavaste Tadavishamarshir Vama Sarve Vivashayasya Distam Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Nibodhata Dedamritam Bravimi Masu Iyuttum Devamara Shya Prameyam Vayam Bhavaste Tadaesha Maharshi Vahama Sarve Vivashaya Shadistam. Anyone? Prabhuji? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Nibodatate Damritam Bravimi Mashu itum deva marasya prameyam Vayam bhavaste tadaesha marshi Vahama sarve vivashaya shadistam. I'm not sure either.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Bodhatate Damritam Bravimi
Nibodatate Damritam Bravimi
Masuitum Devam Arhas Aprameyam
Mashu Devam Arasya Prameyam
Vayambaraste Tata Esha Maharshi
Vayam Bhavaste Tata Esha Marshi
Mahama Sarve Vivashayasya Dishtam
Mahamasvayasudistam. Ladies, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Nibodatate Damritam Bravimi Masu yutam deva marasya prameyam Mayam bhavaste tadaesha marshi Vahama sarve vivashaya shadistam. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Nibodatate damritam bravimi Mashuitum deva marasya prameyam Mashuitum deva marasya prameyam
Vayam bhavaste tadaesha marshi Vama sarve vivashaya syadista. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. The Supreme Person, Lord Brahma, said, Niboda, kindly hear with attention. Tata, my dear son, idam, this, ritam, true, bravimi, I am speaking, ma, not, asuitum, to be jealous of, devam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, arasi, you ought, apramiyam, who is beyond our experimental knowledge, vayam, we, bhavaha, Lord Shiva, te, your, tataha, Father, eshaha, this, Maharishi, Narada, Vahamaha, carry out, Sarve, all, Vivashaha, unable to deviate, Yasya, of whom, Distam, the order, Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki. Translation. Lord Brahma, the Supreme Person within this universe, said, "My dear Priyavrata, kindly hear attentively what I shall say to you. Do not be jealous of the Supreme Lord, who is beyond our experimental measurements. All of us, including Lord Shiva, your father, and the great sages, Maharshi Narada, the great sage, Maharshi Narada, or Maharishi Narada, must carry out the order of the Supreme. We cannot deviate from his order." Purport. Do you normally repeat the translation of the verse? Okay. Purport. Of the 12 great authorities in devotional service, 4, Lord Brahma himself, his son Narada, Swayambhuva Manu, and Lord Shiva, were present before Priyavrata. They were accompanied by many other authoritative sages. Brahma first wanted to impress upon Priyavrata that although these great personalities are all authorities, they cannot possibly disobey the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is described in this verse as Deva, which means always glorious. The power, glory, and potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can never be diminished. In the Ishopanishad, the Lord is described as Apapavita, which indicates that he is never affected by anything materially considered sinful. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam describes the Supreme Personality of Godhead as being so powerful that nothing we might consider abominable can ever affect him. An example sometimes given to explain that position, the position of the Supreme Lord, is that of the sun, Krishna Surya Sama, in fact, which evaporates urine from the earth but is never affected by contamination. The Supreme Lord can never be accused of doing anything wrong. When Lord Brahma went to induce Priyavrata to accept the responsibility for ruling the universe, he did not go whimsically. He was following the dictations of the Supreme Lord. Indeed, Brahma and other genuine authorities never do anything without his permission. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Tene Brahma Ridaya Adikavaye. The Lord dictated Vedic knowledge to Brahma through his heart. The more a living entity is purified by devotional service, the more it comes in direct contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam ginamam upajantite. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 10. One of the Chatusloki of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Brahma, therefore, had not come to Priyavrata by his own whims. Rather, it is understood that he had been ordered to persuade Priyavrata by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose activities cannot be understood by material senses and who is therefore described herein as aprameya. Aprameya. Thus, Lord Brahma first advised Priyavrata to hear his word with attention and without envy. One who is induced to perform certain acts despite his desire to do something else is indicated herein. One cannot disobey the orders of the Supreme Lord, even if one is as powerful as Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Manu, or the great sage Narada. All these authorities are certainly very powerful, but they do not have the power to disobey the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since Lord Brahma had come to Priyavrata in accordance with the orders of the Supreme Lord, he first wanted to dispel any suspicions that he might be acting as Priyavrata's enemy. Lord Brahma was following the orders of the Supreme Lord, and therefore it would be worthwhile for Priyavrata to accept Lord Brahma's order as the Lord desired. Om Jnanatimiram Dasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militangena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnanebhyo Namo Namaha Namaum Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatyadi Shatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Lord Brahma, the Supreme Person within this universe, said, "My dear Priyavrata, kindly hear attentively what I shall say to you. Do not be jealous of the Supreme Lord, who is beyond our experimental measurements. All of us, including Lord Shiva, your father, and the great sage Maharishi Narad, must carry out the order of the Supreme. We cannot deviate from this order or from his order." So Hare Krishna everyone, good morning. I'm very, very happy to be here, but I am not qualified to give class, to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam. By the grace of the devotees engaging me in service, I will try my best to repeat what I was taught, what I learned from my authorities, from my teachers, and from Srila Prabhupada reading his books, from my Diksha Guru, from my Shiksha Guru. Please let us make this interactive. At any point, ask your question, make a comment. Let's make this real and relevant. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's not different. He is not different from the Supreme Personality of God, and by reading we can realize that, not just by reading, but studying, by diving deeper into the wonderful wisdom of Bhakti. So, very interesting. Basically, Priyavrata is not sure, because he's an advanced devotee, is not sure that he wants to get married. But we hear here that Lord Brahma is encouraging him, is giving instruction. "My dear Priyavrata, kindly hear attentively what I shall say to you. Maybe what you think you know is not just complete. Maybe what you think you know is not enough." So this goes back to our lives and our progress in Krishna consciousness. We might think we know better, but maybe our teachers, our mentors, or our senior devotees, our well-wishers, Vaishnavas around us, they might give an instruction, or they might make a comment, they might give a hint of how we could do even better than what we're already doing. And this goes also back to Priyavrata being a Naistika brahmachari. So even in my experience as a brahmachari, normally brahmacharis are very happy to stay brahmachari, because that provides a lot of stability, and you don't have to deal with money and women, and that's difficult. So when you're a brahmachari, when I was a brahmachari, it's let's say convenient, or it's let's say more easy, or it's more appealing to just remain in that ashram. And what's really interesting, I remember from reading Bhagavatam a couple of years ago, that stood out to me, a couple of verses after, guess what Brahma tells Priyavrata? He tells that, my dear boy, all of us are bound by the Vedic injunctions to these divisions of Varnashram according to our qualities and work. These divisions are difficult to avoid because they are scientifically arranged. Basically, this is what Krishna is telling Arjuna as well in Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna, you wanna go in the forest and pretend to be a sadhu, brahmana, and not be into justice and order and administration? Really? You, Kshatriya, you want to try and do that? I think that's not going to work, Arjuna. Why? Because these divisions of Varnashram are difficult to avoid. They are scientifically arranged. Basically, it seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, that Lord Brahma, is saying something very similar to Priyavrata. Priyavrata is a Naistika brahmachari, but his father is old now and wants to retire and take sannyas and get rid of the kingly duties. And so it's time is up for Priyavrata to change ashram. Time is up. But it's not whimsically, it's not something done whimsically. I like that girl, or I like that boy, I'm gonna change ashram. Or I'm bored, I don't feel anything, I don't feel much anymore in this ashram, let me try a new ashram, let me try next ashram. So Prabhupada makes this point very clearly, it's not something to be done whimsically. It has to be done in accordance with Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. And what I really like is that it is scientifically arranged. That means that it's science. That means it works for everybody. We must, Brahma continues, we must therefore carry out our duties of Varnashram Dharma. Like bulls obliged to move accordingly to the direction of a driver pulling on ropes, not to their noses. So we are like bulls, shackled, pulled by the ropes of the Varnashram Dharma. That's why you read Bhagavatam, basically every other page, Srimad Prabhupada tells you, we must follow Varnashram Dharma, we must follow Dharma, we must follow Dharma. Unless you follow Dharma, what are you following? So we can ask ourselves this question. Unless you follow Dharma, what are you following? They also say, I really like this saying in Vedic tradition, unless you protect the Dharma won't protect you. But if you protect the Dharma will protect you. And our lives become so much simpler when we start following Dharma. You start follow Dharma and your life becomes simpler. Your mind becomes more easy to control, more peaceful. You remember the mind, and you might know by your own experience, the mind is not easy to control. Arjuna said, Krishna, oh, the mind is so difficult to control. It's more difficult to control the raging wind. I don't think I'm going to be able to control my mind. Krishna, please help me, tell me how. The mind, Arjuna says in chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, the mind is restless, turbulent, balavat, very strong. How can I subdue the crazy, restless mind? And Krishna says, anyone remembers what Krishna says in to answer that question of Arjuna? Yes, Jamuna. Yeah. And how to do that? Krishna gives a formula. Krishna gives a recipe. Bhagavad Gita is a recipe book.
Detachment?
Yes, detachment and suitable practice. Vairagya, detachment, and by a suitable practice. Vaisena. So wonderful that it's already scientifically arranged, our progress. Do you want to follow Dharma? Do you want to follow Varnashram Dharma? So it is scientifically arranged. You just need to kind of study it or learn it from your authority, from Prabhupada's books, and apply it. So philosophy is not just theoretical and speculative. Philosophy is conclusive. That means you take the theory, you apply it, and you see a transformation. You read the books, you apply them, you think about them, you apply them with sincerity and humility, and you will see a transformation for the better. And your real self comes alive, finally, and you start tasting the nectar, Amrita, the nectar of Krishna consciousness. It might be a Ratha Yatra, it might be on a rainy day in Zurich, just outside the station, and no one stopping. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. The nectar is there, and if we're ready, if we are protecting the Dharma and the Dharma is protecting us, if we're following Varnashram Dharma and Varnashram Dharma is allowing us to taste the nectar of the holy name, the nectar of Seva and Bhakti. So Arjuna wasn't sure. Arjuna was a bit confused, and Priyavrata also. I think Priyavrata was attached to detachment. We can say that. Sometimes we have a wrong understanding of detachment. That's why Rupa Goswami explained, you remember, in Srila Nectar of Devotion, the definition of detachment. Anyone remembers? Wonderful definition of detachment and the definition of its counterpart, attachment.
So it's everything for Krishna.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So we are not
Yes.
attached to things, but at the same time we use them in service of Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal or the supreme way to be surrendered, to be
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much. No, perfect. Thank you, Prabhu, for being so knowledgeable and quoting the Shastras. I wouldn't be able to do that, but this is a wonderful verse, and it's very purifying to read this definition of a detachment. I'm trying to look it up, but I can find it. Yeah, anyway, the essence of that point is that you might think of detachment as being not engaged with material stuff. But Rupa Goswami says, well, careful, because if you give up everything, not knowing that is related to Krishna, that is not real detachment. Instead, if you take and do everything and you see its connection to Krishna, and you're still very engaged, super busy, you might even have a wife, and you might even have money to deal with. You might even be the king of the universe, Priyavrata. Yet if you're aware of its connection with Krishna, because everything belongs to Krishna, then that's detachment. That's real detachment. Then you are detached. So it's counterintuitive. Unless you're a kind of intelligent and you're kind of aware and thoughtful, you will miss it. You will miss it. You will think that detachment is just, oh, I go to the temple, I take brahmacharya, and I stay there forever, and I don't see my parents anymore, and I'm just not gonna deal with all the difficulties of the material world. Jai Shishi Jagannath Baladevi Subhadra Maharani ki. Shishi Gauranitai ki. So wonderful, wonderful verse by Rupa Goswami, wonderful definition of detachment, which is not so clear if you come from another spiritual tradition like Catholic Church, or it might not be so clear or scientifically explained to you what is detachment. And what to speak of Varnashram Dharma. Varnashram Dharma, the eight divisions, the 8 orders of society, the 4 phases of life, and the 4 categories of society. It might not be so clear, and so you're confused. And you might turn 18 in the Western world, and you have no clue of what's going on, and what you shall do with your life, and you have no idea how society works, and what is actually real knowledge. Okay? Any comments or points or inputs at this point? Feel free to make it interactive. That would be much appreciated.
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada is the perfect example about that, how he utilized all things in Krishna consciousness. He fly. Also, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati made the example, and he was very criticized for many other in that time because he sometimes clothes and he traveling in cars and all those things. But because they know the principle of Yukta Vairagya, and that's important. It's a very clear example for all of that, like the dictaphono, the planes, everything.
Money, international society with a lot of wealth coming in, a lot of people coming in, a lot of power. And I remember, it struck to me, I heard they were in Mayapur, it was Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja, they were doing Guru Puja to Prabhupada. I think it was towards the end, around 75 or 76, maybe some of you heard this pastime, Leela, Prabhupada Leela. And everybody was like glorifying Prabhupada like anything, with real gratitude and devotion and dedication. And at some point, someone was glorifying Prabhupada like anything. And the one funny Prabhupada could hear Prabhupada whispering, "I am just my Gurudev's dog." So this was his mindset. You are detached because you consider yourself very low. You consider yourself like the menial servant. And this is our tradition. And if you want to keep our tradition pure, we also need to embody that mood of selfless, menial service. I'm not here to show off. I'm not here to gain anything. I'm here to give. And by giving, by serving selflessly, I'm gaining the greatest wealth. The greatest wealth. And Namachintamani. And then we realize what actually is this Hare Krishna Sankirtan movement. And we start tasting. We start making some advancement. And we slowly get closer to Nista. We go through anartha nivritti, which might not be pleasing, because there is kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, and matsarya. They're there within our heart. So anartha nivritti, it might not be so easy, and it may take some decades. But we go through, and Krishna let us advance towards nistha, and then towards ruchi, and then towards ashakti, and then towards bhav, and then towards prema. And we experience that, we have a glimpse of that. And that is Amrita, Namachintamani, the elixir of long life. Yes, Mata?
Please, can you explain me the difference between karma and dharma?
The difference between?
Karma and dharma.
Karma and dharma. Wonderful question. Thank you so much. So karma means action. Karma on itself, Mata, karma on itself means action with fruitive intention. You want something, I want to get some money, at least 2,000 euros a month, because I need to maintain. So, and it's good. You have to. So I'm gonna work, and I really want to get my salary, and that's fine. You know, it's karma. It's actually good. It's when we say karma, normally we mean good action. It's even though it's fruitive, it's good. Okay. It's different from akarma or from vikarma. Okay, it's karma. It's in line with varnashram dharma most of the time. But there's still some ego, some selfish, I'm attached. I look forward to seeing the 2,000 euros flowing into my bank account the 15th of May or every half of a month. Okay, that's karma. But that's different, Mataji, from Bhagavad Gita 3rd chapter and 5th chapter when we hear of Krishna karma or yoga karma, karma yoga. Karma yoga means you take your karma because we're all impelled by the gunas to act. Unless we are very advanced, we have to act. And so we take that tendency of action and that tendency to be attached to the results of our action, and we start dovetailing in Krishna consciousness. And that's where your karma becomes karma yoga. First 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita mainly talk about that. Okay, you want to act, okay, you want to get some result from your action, that's fine. Don't feel guilty, don't feel wrong about it, it's fine. But why don't you add Krishna to your life? Why don't you start doing it for Krishna? That becomes karma yoga, okay? That is karma. So we have karma and karma yoga. Karma without Krishna is just karma. Action without Krishna is just karma. Action for Krishna is karma yoga. Action in Krishna consciousness, chapter 5 of Bhagavad Gita. Then you have dharma. And here what we're reading is that Brahma says, Priyavrata, you need to fall in line with Varnashram Dharma. Dharma is the law, is the order. Dharma means order. Or Dharma means essence. For example, can you guess what the Dharma of sugar is? Yeah, to be sweet. Can you guess what the Dharma of a mother is? To love her children, sorry. Can you guess what the dharma of a kshatriya, of a warrior is? To fight, to protect the innocents, to protect women and children. So, unless you know your dharma, meaning unless you know varnashram dharma, which is scientifically arranged, Brahma is saying, science, it's a science. That means you don't have to think, you don't have to have your own opinion about it. It's science, like mathematics. You don't really have to have your opinion about mathematics, or physics. Unless you're a PhD and you want to come up with a theory that is avant-garde, like ultimate knowledge theory, and that is bona fide according to Guru Sadhu Shastra. Otherwise, science means you just have to take it as it is. Bhagavad Gita as it is. Varnashram Dharma, it's a science as it is. It's scientifically arranged, Brahma is saying to Priyavrata. So Dharma, Mataji, to conclude my answer to your question, Dharma is the order of the universe, is the order of society, is the order of everything. So you, Mataji, as a woman, you have a Dharma. Are you married? No? Okay, so because you're not married and you're doing service at the temple, you have a Dharma according to that position. Basically, according to that position, whatever there is, you have some injunctions. You have some rules and regulations that you want to follow to be fully mentally healthy. So to keep your mental stability, so that when you chant, so when you practice Bhagavad Dharma, when you dedicate yourself to Krishna service, it's working and you feel it and you're enthused and you're happy, enthusiastic. So Dharma is like how this world works. And if you fall with Dharma, because it's your nature, you could also say it's your nature, if you're a pujari, you have a Dharma of pujari, it's your nature to love your deities. And when you cook for the deities, it's your nature to apply yourself to it. Does that make sense? Is that clear enough? Okay, of course the two are intertwined, because when you are in line with your Dharma and with your Varna, then you use your karma. Your karma yoga is within that society order that you belong to. Does that make sense? Your karma, your karma yoga is in line with your position in society. If you're a mother, your service to your kids and your family becomes your karma yoga, which is also bhakti yoga, Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita. So it's what's amazing about our tradition and what Prabhupada brought to us is that it's so comprehensive and so complete. If we understand it and we apply it to our lives, we see that everything becomes easier, everything becomes in order, and we get mental health. Why so many young people from my generation and even younger in the Western world, they suffer lack of mental health, mental diseases, lack of Varnashram Dharma, which naturally will lead, which is a divine system, which is Krishna's system. Why is Mahatma Prabhu giving seminars on Varnashram Dharma? Why is Urmila Devi writing books on career Dharma? And they're so wonderful and so relevant to today's society, because it's Krishna's divine system. And if we understand it, we become so healthy mentally, at least more and more, according to our appropriate engagement and application. And then, when our bhakti service can become more effective, more relevant. Have you seen some devotees? They sit down to chant japa in the morning, but then they get distracted. Their mind is disturbed. It's like Arjuna. The mind is restless, unsteady. The mind is like the raging wind. And so I cannot perform my service. I cannot perform my japa, even though I took vows, or even though I wanted to be committed to that vow and seva. My mind is disturbed, and so I cannot do it nicely. I cannot pour my heart. My mind is not there. I am not mindful. I am not conscious. What to speak of Krishna conscious? So, that's fine. That's fine. That's all of us. We're all on the same boat. You know, I don't want to sound like a fanatic preacher who's blaming others. We're all on the same boat. Our mind is restless. But my point is, Urmila's point is, Mahatma Prabhu's point is, like our guru, Priyavrata, is hearing from Brahma's. Brahma's point is, don't try and stay in the forest, stay Naistika Brahmachari forever. Just try and understand your nature. Take the duty that your authorities, including your father, is suggesting you take, and that is the way forward. And that will bring some peace of mind. That will bring some vigor, strength to your service. And yeah, as I said already, it's pretty much the same. Krishna is telling Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, I think we finish at 8:30, so we have 3 minutes left. Please, let's make it interactive. Any doubts, criticism, comments, anything? Yes, Marty.
So basically, suffering comes from the fact that we are sinful, that we don't follow God's laws. So we don't follow the Dharma.
Yeah, wonderfully put. Thank you. Everybody heard that? We suffer. Don't worry, we all suffering. To some degree more, unless if you're not in line with Varnashram Dharma, or a little less, the more you get in line with Varnashram Dharma. But don't worry, you know what the good news is, Marty? The suffering is educational. Suffering is not the end of the world. Suffering is educational. Varnashram Dharma, everything is arranged for you. Suffering also is arranged for you to learn. Suffering is a lesson. And if you're a devotee and you're suffering, like me, don't worry. Just Krishna is teaching you a lesson. And you learn it, and then there's going to be another lesson. But you're going to suffer less. The more you learn, the less you suffer. The more you fall in line with Varnashram Dharma, or the law of the universe, as you wonderfully said, Marty, the more you become free from suffering, free from fear. Thank you very much. Jamuna?
Thank you very much for this very real lecture. Sometimes we think that we have to apply to time, place, and circumstances, so we might not fit, we might not do this dharma properly, but it's okay. We have to adjust. And actually, it's not really the mindset we should have. So, can you make it clear that actually everyone have to follow dharma to get anywhere, actually?
Yeah, wonderful point. I think they have a point. Those they say that they have a point, especially in the West. But today, even in England, in India, you expect to establish Varnashram Dharma in the West? Good luck. Even a guru, like recently, no, it's not guru, Shiksha guru, but he's a Swami, GBC in our movement. He clearly told me, look, don't even try to establish an eco-farm. Don't even try. It's not going to work. And I was very upset. I was very let down. But then, the morning after chanting my japa, I realized, Krishna arranged, because it's very difficult. But this GBC, wonderful, amazing devotee, disciple of Prabhupada, and also my Shiksha Guru was present, my Shiksha Guru, Tridas Prabhupada disciple himself, tell me, look, good luck. You're not going to be able to do it in the West. Many devotees before you, they tried. But you, Shyam Govinda, who do you think you are? You think you're going to be able to establish eco-farm. So, but that means also Varnashram Dharma. Because eco-farm comes with Varnashram Dharma, of course. Or you can say Varnashram Dharma comes from eco-farm. So they have a point. They have a point. In the West, what can we think to do, We should be very realistic. That was the point. That was this GBC guru, senior devotee point. Be realistic. Don't fly too high. Be realistic. Keep your feet on the ground. Why? Because we're in Kali Yuga. So we need to be able to remain and work outside Varnashram Dharma. Listen to. That's why I was telling you yesterday. Really, you want to do university preaching with devotional clothes? Are you sure? That doesn't sound a realistic idea to me. That's why I was telling you. But at the same time, of course, you are. Yeah. I'm just bringing a few concepts together. I'll finish soon. This goes to the point. It goes back to the fact that we might have to break or work without Varnashram Dharma in order to preach bhakti, which will bring Varnashram Dharma in due time. Because if you're an advanced devotee, Varnashram Dharma is a side effect of your being a pure devotee. Look at Radhanath Swami Maharaj, look at Shivaram Swami Maharaj, look at all the wonderful, powerful devotees like Srila Prabhupada. Wherever they preach, there are eco-farms developing. Okay? So let us not think that by applying Varnashram Dharma as mechanically we will develop bhakti. No, bhakti first. So you might have to go incognito at your University of Bologna or whatever, in order to spread bhakti. Okay, so you might have to be able, as a preacher or as a Hare Krishna devotee, to work even without outside the Varnashram rules and regulations in order to preach bhakti, which is supported and which supports Varnashram Dharma. At the same time, simultaneously, because we say this seems a contradiction to what you're assuming or what we're discussing here. So it seems to have a contradiction. You say that we need Varnashram Dharma, but at the same time you're saying that we need to be able to function without it or outside it. Yes, this is simultaneously same and different. Simultaneously, there are two truths going on here. But there's no contradiction, because we function in Zurich, central Zurich. We function in London, where you cannot apply Varnashram Dharma unless you're within the temple. And then, just outside Zurich, or just outside Bologna, or London, or Mumbai, or just outside New York, just outside Delhi, you have an eco-farm. And maybe a temple community where those devotees who are committed, who are trained, who are seasoned and more mature, they'll be able to establish and follow Varnashram Dharma. Yeah, I tried to answer your question because it's a very intelligent question. I brought a few points. There's a contradiction going on, but I also tried to solve that contradiction. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it makes much sense. Thank you. Could I add
Absolutely, please.
Thank you so much. I'm not sure why Varnashram Dharma and eco-farms are so much related.
Yeah, wonderful point. Marty, what's the book that we're reading? from Chandramouli Swami just published a book on what is that? What is that on? I mean, what is the title? Anyway, Krishna's life, Krishna natural living, Krishna's natural living, and that explains why eco farms. Of course, it doesn't write any. Pretty much, it's all Prabhupada's quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam. So you read Bhagavatam and you understand why rural communities and eco farms are so essential for Varnashram. But yeah, we don't want to get hung up on this Varnashram. We don't want to become obsessed with Varnashram. You might live in an eco farm and be in Maya. You might be properly situated within your marriage or within your brahmacharya ashram and be completely spaced out and unfulfilled and frustrated, okay? It's a servant, it's a divine system for you to practice more effectively. That's what marriage is. That's what brahmacharya is. It should serve your bhakti practice. If it doesn't, then you're not properly situated. So just to answer your question in another way, when you live in the city, how can you chant your 16 rounds before 7 a.m. if you live in the city? Unless you have such a wonderful Vaikuntha space created by Srila Prabhupada and his disciple 30, 40 years ago, like this wonderful Krishna temple here in Zurich. Trust me, if you live outside, in your own apartment with your own little family, your own little rent and your own little duties, it's basically, in Kali Yuga society, it's basically impossible. I mean, it's possible, but it's like the raging wind. It's like fighting the raging wind. Even Arjuna feels defeated. Even Arjuna is giving up, you know. So we need to create a nice environment that is sustainable for our bhakti. And that is a rural community where advanced devotees like Shivaram Swami, Radhan Swami, Srila Prabhupada, and all the other great leaders in our movements, they can manage such a Varnashram Dharma. That's also why that guru, you know, was telling me, this is just talking to myself now. Probably that guru was telling me, you know, be careful, be careful, be careful, because unless you are like that, you're going to fail. So maybe many devotees before you, they tried and they failed. Maybe they were not so ready. They didn't know what they were doing. So I think we're saying, Brahma told Priyavrata, yeah, go on, don't worry. Follow the Varnashram Dharma. But we live in Kali Yuga's Western world these days, and it might be not so easy. It might not be so easy. But you know what, Jamuna, what's relevant to us, what's really relevant to us, more than eco-farm is fine, it's necessary. But to us, to me personally, me and the youth that I'm dealing with in Bologna in Italy, we need psychology, bhakti psychology, which is part of Varnashram Dharma. So we need to have a service which is inspired by. You know, because I've been around for 10 years, I many times see even young devotees who are not properly situated, and they go on Harinam like this. Or they do puja like this. No, I mean, that's something wrong in the way your authorities are helping you apply the Varnashram Dharma. Because maybe you're not ready, or maybe you are doing it, but you're not feeling it. How sustainable is that? To do a service that you're not into, or that you're not understood yet, maybe because you're not ready. So I think unless you're in an association of advanced devotees and they, with their bhakti shakti, they inspire you to do anything and everything, unless that, we need, in Kali Yuga societies, we need to apply the bhakti psychology coming from Varnashram Dharma. Find your nature, find your inclination, find your conditioning, be humble, accept it. Don't pretend to be Naistika Brahmachari forever and then you crash after holding on for 5-10 years. No, just be properly situated. And if you like pop music, just do pop music. If you like rap music, just do rap music for Krishna, under the guidance of a mentor, of a Shiksha Guru. But make sure that when you do bhakti, it's not boring. It's not something that you do because you feel like you have to. That's not sustainable. That's not sustainable. Make sure that you are inspired and you choose a service, or you're given a service according to your nature, your guna karma. So Varnashram comes down to your guna karma. Make sure you're properly engaged according to your guna karma. But that's, of course, you don't do it whimsically. And you know, a Priyavrata, you want to do what you like? No, I am Brahma, I am the Lord of the universe, and I'm suggesting you follow your authority, who's your father, and you, according to your guna karma, according to your position, you take the duties. And of course, I'm not saying that our service should always be fun and happiness and wow, it's so easy and I'm so into it. No, there's always going to be, even within your guna karma and even within your varna and your ashram, even when you're properly situated according to varnashram dharma, according to your guna karma, there's going to be challenges. But those challenges, like a mother, the dharma of a mother is to take care of the children. But that challenge, that austerity, to wake up at night at 3 a.m. to go and give breast milk the child, to her doesn't really feel like an austerity. She's not bored. Out of love, it's a burden of love. It's not even a burden, it's just an austerity. It was not even austerity because she's moved, she's touched, she's inspired. She's so enthusiastic because she moved by love, you know, for the child. The same way we should kind of be into what we do, you know. If you're a manager or you're a business inclination, that's fine. We need good managers, we need good businessmen. especially in Bologna, where I'm from. We need a good young businessman who helps us out. And we also need brahmanas though, and the businessman should be in touch with the brahmana. If the businessman is not in touch with the brahmana, that's capitalism, that's neoliberalism. That's terrible. So the same, you know, we all cooperate, we all complement one another. Varnashram dharma is not it's not anymore a competition. I'm a businessman and I want to make more money of you, and you're a professor and you teach and you write books and you want to make more money than the farmer, and the farmer wants to make money than the football player. No, it's not that. We all come together to serve one another in Varnashram dharma. But how can you do that in the city? Going back to your question, Yamuna, how can you do that in the city when we all live separate? We can do that. We can complement one another when we come together and live together and we sustain one another. You are a teacher and you teach my kid. I'm very happy because I'm a farmer to provide milk for you and your family. I might not even have to pay you as a teacher to my kid because I have cows and I share my 1 gallon of milk a week with you for free because you teach my kids for free. This is ideal, very ideal. You see how far are we from that in Kali Yuga society? But we have eco-villages and we have Govardhan eco-village, we have Krishna Valley, we have Krishna Nagar. So we have many examples and we need to boost and apply ourselves to, first of all, apply Varnashram Dharma to ourselves psychologically. That's my point, Jamuna. That's my consideration. Then, once our psyche, our mind becomes more steady and free and strong due to application of bhakti philosophy and bhakti psychology, in due time, like our senior Shiksha Gurus in Hare Krishna movement are doing, we'll be able to establish also eco-farms where the Varnashram system can be followed a little more closely and life flows a little more smoothly, and you chant your rounds and you're there, you're present, you're mindful. You don't need you don't need an 8 week of mindfulness at the hospital because you broke down. That's too late. You can just you can just live in nature, have cows around you, and follow Varnashram Dharma, and that's mindfulness, the protocol of mindfulness they teach at the university or at the hospital these days for mental mentally healed persons, is not necessary anymore. Because you're in line with Varnashram Dharma. If that makes sense. Yes, please. Sorry, I'm rumbling forever.
There's one course in School of Bhakti, so the School of Bhakti and Dhamma, and one of the topics is finding your Dharma. Talks about different points. To find your Dharma, you have to do some things that there are things, those things that you like, that you can get some money doing that, and also you can make a contribution to the world on that. And there are different points to find the Dharma. I would like to ask you something about, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talks about Dharma, I'm not brown, etc. So devotees are beyond Dharma ashram.
Yeah.
You want to
wonderful.
Something?
Of course, you're so intelligent. This is such an intelligent question. There is another contradiction. Why does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say that we're above, we're beyond Varnashram Dharma? But then all we're talking about here is the importance of Varnashram Dharma. Every other page of Srimad Bhagavatam, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu repeatedly tells to follow, is saying that Varnashram Dharma is so important. Why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu take sannyas if he was above Varnashram Dharma? Big, contradiction. How do we solve this contradiction? Contradiction is again, it's just, if you're not mindful, if you're not thoughtful, you'll be bewildered by this seemingly contradiction, but it's not a contradiction. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself understood, well, these kids are making fun of me. Unless I take sannyas, they're just going to make fun of me. Who's going to respect me? Who's going to listen to me? So, sannyas helped him to do what he had to do. Varnashram Dharma helps us do what we have to do. So that's why I was telling Prabhu also, family is also part of Varnashram Dharma. We cannot be detached from family. We have to, like Prabhu was saying, even if you don't want, you have to go to that family gathering because it's in line with Dharma. You protect the Dharma, Dharma will protect you. It's the right thing to do. But then, of course, if you're attached to your family, then it degrades you. But if you're in balance and if you're not too attached, then it uplifts you. So yeah, wonderful point, Prema. A wonderful point because, Keshava Swami, the School of Bhakti, and the British devotees, they're on top of this. They know. We have our kids, our Krishna conscious kids, our Hare Krishna kids. They're not going to join the temple. They're not going to live in an eco-farm. But we want them to be Krishna conscious. So let us give them Finding Your Dharma seminar or some knowledge so that they can apply the psychology of bhakti to their lives and be fully satisfied. And when you choose university, make sure that is in line with your nature. Just that, just that. We're not even speaking of Krishna Katha or philosophy or wisdom from Vedic times. Today's even modern coaches from America or even a atheistic coach will allow you to will help you find your Dharma, because that steady your mind, that makes your mind more steady, more relaxed. So that when you chant, you're mindfully, you're present, you're here, you're there, you're here and now, and you can benefit from that. You can read Bhagavatam, you're properly situated materialistically. Properly situated, but that helps you practice bhakti. Once you found your Dharma, then you devote your Dharma to Krishna, and you're strong. You're strongly situated. Jai, thank you so much. Well, thank you so much. Sorry if you went on too much. Any correction, please? Any adjunction or add from temple president, from other senior devotees will be very much appreciated.
amazing lecture for you. Very clear, very enlightening. I learned a lot. Very
Prabhu,
insights.
I just said what I learned from devotees like you and all the wonderful Vaishnavas in this movement. Like Keshava Swami says, I heard him say, they don't think this is a normal movement, this is the Hare Krishna movement, this is the best movement in the world. There are incredible personalities, incredible books on Dharma, incredible book on career Dharma, on finding your nature. We want to read those and really make our life better and practice bhakti better and taste the nectar. Yeah, thank you very much. Everybody, Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Shyam Govinda ki. The devotees, let us just make a small video for Durin, who designed these flyers. He's actually in India. And how do you like the flyer?
Very nice, beautiful.
So nice.
Colors, very clear. Design
Pictures.
picture that.
So I would like to thank him. We can make a small video.
Haribol!
Amazing.
How you like the flyer?
Beautiful!
Wonderful. Very nice. Thank you so much. Hari Hari.
He joined through the Harinam, the lake, in 2018.
Wow.
And now he's in India, in Chennai, as a Bharatanatyam dancer.
Where is she from?
He's from here, Switzerland.
Oh, wow.
His parents from Kosovo.
Java.
And he's still doing a lot of service on that.
Amazing. Yes.
Who did the design?
He did. Yeah. And those of you who like to distribute,
Yes. I
please.
We need a bunch
Oh,
for
yeah.
today.
Yeah. Just take as many as you can.
Are you just going around the area or in letterboxes?
Well, usually the best thing is on Harinam book distribution, and if you have some, or colleagues at work, you also distribute. But if you have some other ideas, you're welcome to take. We have enough, as you can see.
Das haben wir auch später.
Genau, aber dann haben wir mehr. Die nehmen jetzt weg.
Nice.
If we order more, because they're just general invitation. They are already
No, these are.
full day.
And
We can maybe finish them
Yeah.
also.
there's another.
Ja, das ist okay.
Bro, I will take this box. It's okay? I will take it.
Oh, really? Good. Please.
Yeah.
All English, yeah?
Yeah, that's, you suggest me what to do on that side.
Yeah, we had this discussion because to have two is a little unpractical, but the both here decided that if you have both, you can quickly ask English, German, and
Okay.
but then how you separate them? Maybe I need to give you some
Bro?
some rubber gum or something.
Yes, better to put in a
Yeah, if you can give me so I can separate the bag.
in a bag, better because so in dot in the car, so better.
So this is already, yeah,
Or you put it back in this.
yeah, I didn't put it back.
That's what good idea.
That's the best.
Yes, that's the best idea.
Maybe we have another session. Breakfast.
Okay, we now finish.
I will take
No, it's
this.
finished, but I was joking about
Yeah, put again.
To put that.
That's very nice. No?
But most
No, but this
let's
will be okay. So I can live here and I will take this.
No, I don't think.
Or I put it in the ashram.
The ashram.
I put it in the ashram.
Yes.
So the water will not confuse us.
Because
If
we
I-
will come like after lunch.
Yeah, I put it
This is
in the
so much then.
Oh, you need?
No.
Oh, why after lunch?
Because after lunch we go home now.
And you need it in 3 hours.
Yes.
No, you know you put it here.
Yeah.
Because you practice it. It just goes down.
Yeah, sure.
If you want, no, I mean, just in the past couple of days, you say.
Yeah, even thank you so much. Yeah, you're very inspiring person.
No problem. I have to do university reading. If you want, you can help.
Bist du auch im Möchtest du ein paar doch mitnehmen? Du hast wahrscheinlich logisch.
Yeah, when they have lecture time.
Okay, yeah.
No, it's
Yeah,
summer
no, for sure.
break.
Yeah, for sure.
Zu sehr braucht der Arbeit und
Yeah, thank you so much. Very amazing.
Ein bisschen spät.
Yeah, it's really good. Like you really aspire to work together in this way, like really motivate young people and
Yeah, yeah, we need to be inspired.
yeah.
As we are the moment,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not easy because of this. We need to be like, we wanna live in a good farm. At the same time, we have to be at university. We have to be we have to. So it's really like you need to be like I say when your personality is split into bipolar. You need to be a little bit able to, not bipolar. It's just a joke. It's just a
Yeah,
joke.
we just have to really like adjust. Also, we have to bring the knowledge in a practical way that everyone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Gradually. That's the key.
Yeah.
Because tonight we
First-
think adjust without compromise. That's why guru.
Yeah.
Guru can do that.
That was also related to my question, like, we have to adjust, but we actually cannot compromise, especially when you're serious about Krishna consciousness, you should follow positive.
Especially if you're
Yeah, yeah.
your question was right, in fact, totally right. Especially sometimes even if you're a young bhakta. Like when I was a young bhakta, and you were like, I want it all, I wanna die into it, I don't wanna, I remember I need to food, I do a full version, I need to I do a full dive in. So I might not have to be a good teacher. I'm not just gonna be there studying all day and learning all day because I'm gonna help you. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm forming myself, I'm studying.
And
And
then-
it might be too early for me to follow and adjust to the Kali society.
I was thinking about that because when you never like do this full renunciation, then you cannot like when you always stay in this outer world and don't like
No, you
get
can't.
enough
So
nourishment and spiritual practices, it will not
Not work, it doesn't work.
Yeah. So we have to go back like first we have to renounce and then we can really go out again.
First we feel ourselves, and then we give. You cannot give if you don't have it.
last box.
Martin, shall we change before taking the shower?
Обращаясь к Видуре, великий мудрец Майтрея Муни сказал: потомки царя Куру достойны служить чистым преданным, так как все они являются преданными личности Бога. Ты тоже принадлежишь к этому роду, и замечательно то, что благодаря тебе трансцендентные игры Господа все время наполняются новым содержанием. Великий мудрец Майтрея поблагодарил Видуру и выразил ему свое почтение, упомянув, к какому славному роду он принадлежит. Род Куру славился тем, что дал миру много преданных личностей Бога. Помыслы всех представителей этого рода направлены не на безличный брахман или локализованную параматму, но сосредоточены на Бхагаване, личности Бога. Поэтому все они были достойны служить Господу и его чистым преданным. Следуя традициям своего рода, Видура всюду проповедовал неувидаемую славу Господа. Поэтому Майтрея был счастлив находиться в обществе такого замечательного человека, как Видура. Он знал, что общение с подобной личностью приносит истинное благо, ибо благодаря ему в человеке пробуждается желание